Alright, what's up guys? It is May 26th and we're gonna do a little bit of a trade recap. So let's get into it. Okay, this was the trade I took today. We took longs. Let's go back before market open. Okay, so before market open, on the hourly, we're in this uptrend. Initially, I wasn't looking at S&P. I was on NASDAQ. And let's go back. Okay, that's fine. Initially, we're still at all-time highs. We're in this continuous uptrend. We did have a break of structure here, and then we drifted straight back up, back into this uptrend. Initially, I was gonna target lows into this new week opening gap, but we just didn't get that, and my bias was just bearish, or sorry, bullish. We're just bullish, bullish, bullish. So I scale down to the 15-minute, and what do we want to see? We want to see a sweep before anything. So I mark out liquidity, lying liquidity still. So we have London lows, which I marked, and then I marked out. This is Asia high, and pretty sure we didn't sweep it. We had Asia high here. Again, this is on NASDAQ. This wasn't my original trade, but this was my setup that I was building up to it. So we copied the same thing on S&P. We have line liquidity down here, London lows, and then these London highs, which we're tapped into, but we have a lot of equal highs up here and consolidation. So this is a strong point for me. So even though I wanted to target the new week lower gap, new week opening gap down here, I wasn't too sure. I wasn't too confident in a bearish trend. So after we marked our liquidity on London low, we went back to the hour and just try to find other confluences. So we ended up having a bearish fair value gap here, which was marked, and not too much. During pre-market, we just chopped around. We didn't have too much going on. So I waited till market open. Let's see. We're displacing lower, and boom, we had our sweep here. So after our sweep, it's only still 9:35, so that's too early for me to place a trade. So let's get on to the 1 minute though. We have this inverse fair value gap right here. I could have took a trade off this, but again, it's still too early for me to take a trade. So I'm just waiting out. All right, we have this huge candle to the upside. We're still in this fair value gap here, but since I'm just waiting for price to keep pushing higher and higher. Okay, price is pushed up, but I could have taken a trade off this inversion, but since price displayed so high, I didn't want to take the risk of it coming back down, and that's exactly what I did. Next candle, just Drake candle. We just completely pushed down. Let's see. 50 points, 58 points. Completely just pushed down. We violated everything we had. And usually after a big move like this, and usually after a big bearish move, we have some type of bullish move. And that was at least my prediction, since this candle closed all the way up here. We ended up disrespecting this gap. So I have it marked inverse. This gap was also disrespected, but this gap held. This gap was respected, and then we started pushing price higher. So I knew price wasn't going to displace lower, since we're expecting bullish movement from this gap down here. So what did I do? I waited till this 5-minute candle closed, and that was my entry right here. I got entered, and I'm keeping in mind of this bearish fair value gap still that we have. Keeping in mind of here, and I set my break even at this high, and I was targeting this hourly bearish fair value gap. Why? Because if price was to react, and let's say I was going to take my TP somewhere up here, right? We entered like over here, TP up here, which was my initial target. But if we are going to respect bearish movement, I was going to put it here, because I don't want to get stopped out early and hold a very long trade. And this was a over 100 point move. This is a very just big TP for me, so I kept it short. Back to the 1 minute. So we inverse this gap, and that just set my confluence even higher, and then we let the play right out. Ended up hitting TP for a 1.5 RR. I ended up buying another contract because I bought 2 contracts on accident instead of 3, which was I meant to do. So after I inversed this, I think it was this gap. No, let me see. Okay, yeah. After we inversed this gap here, I went break even, and I bought another contract. So it was a risk-free trade, and it was only like a $30 loss, which I was fine with. So I ended up buying another contract and closed profits right here. And what the price ended up doing, we ended up not inversing this hourly fair value gap, and we respected bearish movement, and we came all the way down. My initial target was up here, which if this got inversed, it would have most likely came and ran all the way up here to these equal highs. But instead, we came down here, almost had inversion. And let's see, yeah. However, on the NASDAQ, there was no entry for me here. We didn't sweep liquidity. This was London low. We didn't sweep. And this was a high that was already swept. I just had it marked out because we had equal highs. It was just equal highs, but it was also resting liquidity. So this low was never filled, and it was never tapped into. So that didn't give me an entry. And all of these fair value gaps, we have stacked fair value gaps here, here, and they never got tapped into. And this is by 9:40. And then by 10 o'clock, we still have nothing. And we pushed past these highs, but we didn't have a strong move like we did on the S&P today. So yeah, that was the overall trade today. It was a good trade. Risked 1 to 1.5 RR. And yeah, that was a trade today.